I adjusted my stance slightly and spotted the window I was after. I tweaked the zoom on the binoculars and a figure came into view. It wasn't her. I groaned. Was she even there? I hoped she was. I'd witnessed the limo arrive and a flock of glittery people dash into the house. I guessed she was one of them. Maybe I was mistaken. I swept the top floor windows. Lights were flickering and people were scurrying around. Couples were hooking up and I wanted to know who she would choose. Motion in another window drew my eye and there she was, laughing like a bell at the guy in front of her. He looked like a typical new romance nerd, silver shoulder pads making him look like a reject from a cheesy sci-fi flick, hair sculpted into a fancy quiff. The guy was sparking a cigarette, he was asking for his hair to go up in flames. I smirked. I'd pay to see that. They were wasted, staggering all over the place, and I was hoping to see them strip, but no such luck as they left the room. I straightened up, relieving my elbows. Seeing that guy light up had given me a craving for a cigarette too. I fished a pack out of my jeans and savored a smoke here on top of the world. The city shimmered below me, a sea of lights and shadows. I had spent the last few nights scouting for the best vantage point, one that would give me a clear view of her house. She was the object of my desire ever since her face flashed on the screen in her debut music video. I was not some random fan, I had a stake in the music industry. But she ignored me like I was invisible. I dug up every detail I could find about her, but I never got a chance to talk to her at the glamorous parties she frequented. Her loyal bodyguards always kept me at bay. I realized I was obsessed with her when she haunted my dreams and filled my waking thoughts. I resented her for that, for making me feel this way. And that's when I devised this plan. I ground the butt of my cigarette into the dusty soil and flicked it away, settling back onto my belly. Peering through the binoculars, I spotted her in the lounge downstairs, just moments before the French windows burst open and a crowd of people spilled out. I could hear their laughter and screams, and I knew exactly what they were up to. Quickly, I reached for my hold-all, scrabbling inside with one hand, determined not to miss this opportunity. She emerged, stripping off her clothes to reveal a sexy string bikini that reflected gold in the sunlight. I paused for a moment, taking in the sight and imagining my hands on her soft skin. It was such a waste, I thought to myself. Without hesitation, I put down the binoculars and replaced them with the sight on my rifle. I found my target with ease, flicking off the safety with a single movement. I took a deep breath and waited as she approached the diving board, taking 2 jumps before jumping a 3rd time. As she did, I pulled the trigger. The bullet hit her, making the dive less graceful, but the people around the pool cheered, thinking that she had simply had too much to drink. I smiled as I beat my retreat, knowing that in a few seconds those cheers would turn to cries as the blood surfaced and she didn't. Jogging down the top of the ridge, I was more sure-footed than I had imagined and jumped into my Jeep. Being halfway up the hillside, I was able to coast the car down to the tarmac, keeping my retreat silent. If I couldn't have her, no one was going to. Note: this story depicts violent and criminal behavior that we do not endorse or encourage. However, if we look at the story from a literary point of view, it shows the perils of obsession and the outcomes of taking drastic measures to satisfy one's wishes. The main character's unhealthy attachment to the person they wanted led them to kill someone. This story warns us of how obsession can be dangerous and harmful, and how it can result in terrible consequences.